Hi, and welcome to our 12th, that's 1 dozen donuts, of the TargetedWest.com conference, which has included many subjects over the last 3 months. Tonight's the 12th. My name is DJ Chris. I've been targeted overtly for 20 years, and I have the synthetic telepathy. Or maybe not. I don't know. I still don't know what's going on with me. And I'm kind of here to see if you can help me figure it out. I'm just an old man in a camper who's got talking in his head and it ain't mine. So, that's me. I'm available on Twitter. You can get all the show information there. It's TIClub3. You can email me at djchris@targetedwest.com if you have information to share, comments, suggestions. Thank you. Well, everybody's depressed in the world. There's depression going around. I found out there's 150,000 licensed psychiatrists and people that do therapy in the United States. So obviously with 330 million people and half of them may have a depression or issue, sometime in 25% of them do, and growing, then you know why we have a problem with the way everything's going. People aren't getting mental health services at all, because there aren't any, as I suspected. But anyway, here we go with the show. We have different topics I study it during Sunday, because if I do it earlier, I will either have it erased from my memory, or I'll forget. So I've been studying all day, and I will give you the basics of everything, and most of these subjects refer to my Twitter feed, which you don't have to sign up. You can just see it as public. Just go to TIClub3, Twitter. First one I was watching, actually H on Twitter referred me to this, and it's about underground bases. Lily talked about this. Now, Lily was on Targeted Mass for a while, and she said that there are military underground bases in the United States, and she believes that some of the technology used against us are in those underground compounds. And I just kept that in my notebook, and I researched it, and then H on Twitter, Dr. Hive, came up, gave me this video of Phil Valentine, who died in '95, and he was a defense contractor that went down into these underground bases and described exactly what she was talking about. So she was right, and she got run out. See how that works? That's not fair. Many people ran her out. She talks too much. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, now she's not talking at all. See what you did? So she mentioned it, and it's called D.U.M.B, Deep Underground Military Bases. It's called D.U.M.B is the acronym. Okay? And there's D.U.M.B 2. You have heard that there's underground activity in many places all over the world, and it is apparently confirmed through this Phil Valentine. He seemed credible. I listened to all his interviews, and there's some parts I cannot discuss because my terrorists in my head have decided to edit me and censor me, and they screamed and screamed. They just said, all I can do is talk about the underground bases, and I can't give any other details, or the mercenary or the kill drone will show up. So, see how the terrors work for me? Anyway, I'm still here in beautiful Lodi, California. Today is the 19th of June, 2022 at 6 p.m. Oh. Forgot my watch. I keep time. So the terrorists in my head told me I couldn't talk more about the D.U.M.B. So I'll let Phil Valentine tell you everything about on my video I posted on my TI Club 3 Twitter. So we'll let him explain it so I'm safe, I guess, whatever. Next subject matter and topic that you can discuss in a little bit here, as soon as my monologue is over, is the NIH Brain Initiative website. And I rediscovered that site had a blog called Brain Blog, and the Brain Blog gives you all of the information on the activity that the NIH Brain Initiative is doing. And they just got together recently, and two of the subjects they're discussing seriously, you're going to laugh, is LSD being used for therapy and neural implants. So to find out about what they're doing, and it's IARPA and DARPA and FDA and others involved in this initiative, cooperative event, and they have acronyms for everything. There's a working group acronym, and they're quite open with that part. So they're talking about neural implants and using LSD, which, you know, historically LSD, when it came out, was used by one of the alphabet agencies, and especially in one event where they had prostitutes and Johns, and the John would be given LSD, and then they'd watch how they reacted to it. So now they're bringing LSD back. Isn't that funny how the old is new? Do I see Setsa? Setsa's in the house. Hey, Setsa. So please go to my Twitter page, TI Club 3, and check that whole Brain Initiative website out, including the blogs. Read all the blogs. There's way more information there. Now, DARPA didn't used to give this information out, as you'll find out next week on my next show, where I'll be talking about Project Paperclip, the book I'm buying. I have one now, but I'm buying the second one based on the lady, I can't remember her name right now, but she did quite a bit of investigation on Area 51, Project Paperclip, and now she's got one about super soldiers. And we'll discuss that next week. So again, Brain Initiative, NIH site, check that out again. They have not gone away, and they are getting $600 million of funding for the next quarter. Hello. Hello. Next subject matter is, the topic is the Freemasonry and the Mafia in Italy. You know, and I know, and many people know how secretive the Mafia and the Freemasonry is. But in Italy, they were together. The lodges had the Mafia there using their connections for business. And you know, many businesses are run by the Mafia or organized crime. Even today, your garbage services, for one, cigarette machines, vending machines, pinball machines, all that, yeah. And a lot of other stuff, like construction union stuff. So, you know, they're around. And in Italy, they were involved with the Freemasonry, who are also like the Mafia and very secretive, a secret society. Whoa, that was a trip. So, I haven't gone in Q&A mode. Huh, that's why. Duh. That blew my eardrums out. I think I'm going to have to get an ear transplant. I'm sorry if you were listening to me on BitChute. I forgot to put it in the proper mode. And that's the reason why I do it. I apologize for that. Back to the Freemasons. So the Freemasons are super popular in Italy, the UK, and the US. So do you think the organized crime is involved with the Freemasonry in the United States? We'll ponder that. And maybe you can discuss your experiences with the Freemasonry. As I've disclosed, part of my full disclosure program here is that my father was a master mason, and I did not know until we got dementia and moved into my house, where I took care of him. And his Freemasonry magazine came with his mail, and I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what Freemasonry was, hardly. So I started reading the magazine, and I subscribed to the email list and got all their updates, and mostly they're older Freemason people or Masons getting together for dinners and trips, so nothing secretive. Steve Wozniak of Apple, one of the founders, is a member of my dad's lodge, Mount Moriah in Los Gatos, California. There's a lot of strange, occult, and strange things that go on in Los Gatos and up in the hills. And I had a very strange event happen when I contacted them so they could come see my dad in the nursing home later in his care. And they gaslit me over the phone. Kept calling my house, and when I called back, I got a disconnected number. So I went on one of those 99-cent hunt down the call service and found the address was up on Kennedy Road in Los Gatos, California, USA. And the guy had 2 pools. I guess one for day and one for night. Now, just because you have 2 swimming pools doesn't mean you're in Illuminati Freemasonry, but, you know, I found where he came from. He was way up there in the hills. One of the Freemasonry members, obviously. My dad had dementia and had been a member of that place for decades, and he never got a visit from them. And that's from Vice. I don't know if you're pro or con on Vice. Vice does good sometimes, not all the time. So, you know, you have to pick and choose what you believe is close to your beliefs or close to what you need to believe or not learn. Next subject matter is the Lawrence Livermore National Lab is actually talking openly about neural implants in the brain and how they can help people who have disabilities and different issues. And that video with an introduction and full explanation is also on my Twitter page, TI Club 3, and Lawrence Livermore Labs or National Labs has quite a bit of history in the war business, and some of the Manhattan Project was there. A lot of very secretive things went on in that laboratory. And one of the people that worked there wrote a book, How the Hippies Say Physics, which is on Cheryl Welsh's site for you to buy. Not from her, but through Amazon, and it explains all the people involved in physics and stuff. And anyway, they're now coming right out in the open and showing you examples of these neural implants. And as I said, the NIH is discussing neural implants now. Lawrence Livermore National Labs is a gigantic defense contractor and research arm of the government, and gets contracts and is the de facto standard in the Bay Area for that kind of stuff. And anything more I cannot say. Next subject matter is I want to clarify I'm not a sovereign citizen, anything else but a tax-paying U.S. citizen that's patriotic and not a patriot. I'm not on the left, I'm not on the right, I'm not spewing any negative or hurtful or dangerous information. I'm just researching and saying them on the mic and referring people to Twitter. All the information I get is gleaned from YouTube, Twitter, presearch.com, Google, what have you, whatever, I mean, and books. So this, what I'm talking about is all available for the average person. So anyway, that's my stance. Next subject, Michigan just approved it, and California has them. They're digital license plates, and these digital license plates allow you to display your license plate number for up to 5 years on the battery that's inside of it, and it can change the display remotely. You can also put advertisements and do little funny things with it, and for holidays and such. And it's available now. And the problem with it is, as you can figure out, it's being used for fleets, truck fleets and car fleets and taxi fleets and what have you. And it has a tracking capability, so it can track you. Okay? So I would not get a digital license plate. I would keep with your standard license plate. They can already track you using, as I spoke in the previous call, ALPR, or license plate readers, automated or not. They're stationed everywhere, and even on police cars and buildings and the side of the road. The Department of Transportation controls a lot of them, and others do too. They have iffy passwords, and they can be hacked easily because they're devices like an IoT, and they're hackable. And my telepathy mentioned the LPR, and then they claim they didn't pay their bill or something, and they can't give me my reading of where I'm at anymore. Now to the TI Book Club hashtag on Twitter, TI Book Club. You click TI Book Club on my profile, and you'll see all the books currently. And the one we're reading right now is Operation Paperclip. It's in the book club. I have not finished reading it. I feel like reading it today, so instead I watched a Joe Rogan episode with a reporter that investigated that whole event, and she went back to Germany, to Vienna, and met some of the scientists' family members and got all sorts of inside information about what they were doing to people in the Nazi Germany, and they all migrated here to the United States because we didn't want the Soviet Union to get them. And the pole position of the United States is, they got to have it and they got to run it, and they did it. Some people think that's a good idea, but and NASA, like I said, guy running NASA has a sword fight cut in his face, as many of them did as young Nazi SS officers. They would do the sword fighting and cut each other's faces and put horsehair in there to make it look bad. And like I said, NASA was run by the one Nazi, of course. But they had the V2 rocket technology, and we wanted it. They also had a lot of human experimentation. So I'm reading that now. And again, that's TI Book Club, or TI Club 3 is my Twitter page. And that is the current book. A lot of the Nazis went to Argentina, as you know. A lot of this information didn't come out till one person did a Freedom of Information Act in the 90s and got every bit of Project Paperclip information. And then you know what they did afterwards? They sent her a bill for $125,000. So obviously, she asked for the information and got it, but then they sent her that bill. So obviously it's sensitive, and they're giving you the hint that do not ask again. I mean, does it really cost $125,000 to make copies of paperwork? Just give me a break. Is that like the $1,000 toilet? So that's in our book club, and the current status of the book club is you'll have access to every book to buy and preview of the books that I bought and have added to the club. I read every book and rate them and give feedback on Amazon or whatever site to the person who wrote the book and make sure they get paid. I don't like freebie PDFs thrown around in email. No one gets paid. The authors got to get paid because they're all targeted individuals and they got to live too. Like Michael Fitzhugh and the other one, Bell. They're a lot of people that need that income. So support them if you can. And as soon as the TI Book Club feature at Amazon's working, then we'll be good to go. Until then, I got to talk about it manually and do screenshots on Twitter. Okay. Take a moment for you to relax. Talking fast. It is 20 after. We'll be going to Q&A mode, or we're going to open mic mode in a little bit. And that's cannabis. That's Old Pal Cannabis, shareable. oldpal.com if you want to look at it. It's available in California and a couple other states. And it's delicious. It's Tahoe OG. It's an indica. I use it for sleep. Dick Cheney doesn't like marijuana, as he calls it. They do. Marijuana is the name they gave it because they got rid of marijuana because they didn't want Mexican immigrants coming here and taking our jobs, literally. So that's how that whole 1937 Tax Act stamp thing started. And then Dick Cheney says it ruins mind control, so don't smoke it. So that puff was for you, Dick Cheney. I hope you're doing okay, buddy. You're not my buddy. You're nobody's buddy. You're Darth Vader. But bless your heart. Next and last before open mic is I have changed targeted disco therapy, which got no bite, to targeted music therapy. So if you want to chill out on some songs, go to TI Club 3 and click on targeted music therapy on one of the videos, and you see the list of the songs. I've got Johnny Cash and Van Morrison on there currently. And we'll switch, as you see, the next section is open mic. So switch that over. And go to open mic mode. Okay, it's open mic. And then my trick is I weave in the topics. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's that coming from? Whatever. I might have to go back into Q&A mode. But anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. Did anybody want to speak? Open mic.
Yes, I have a question in regards to the Masons. I don't know much about them, but I know a little bit about them. Now, their sword and their caps, are they Indonesian influenced, kind of like the Samant and Roy group, which is kind of related to the Scientology group? Do you know anything about if they have an Indonesian influence?
No, they are UK, US mostly. Bavarian, and started quite a long time ago. Matter of fact, most cities and areas in the United States are from the Masonry. And no, they don't. I don't know anything about that either. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going by the way their hat is and their sword. It looks more like an Indonesian symbolism.
A lot of it's symbolism, yes, and it could be copied from it. You never know. The Nazis stole the Nazi swastika from the Indians. There's Indian worship centers that have the swastika, and they have to put signs up saying, "We're not Nazis." So, yeah, they could have done that. I believe that's possible. Okay. Open mic, 6/19/2022, DJ Chris, TargetedWest.com. And the big question of the day on open mic is, who are they? We are always saying they. They do this, they do that, they did this to me, they did that to me, they did this, they did those things. So who is they to you? Who is they? That's food for thought.
Organized criminals.
There you go.
And there's more than one group, and they brag if they catch one, they can't catch them all, because there's more than one organized criminal group, American and non-American, civilian and non-civilian. When I say non-civilian, we also have non-American, non-civilian on our soil.
And we have the 12 Eyes, which used to be 5 Eyes, which is Australia, UK, Canada, and now with translation software, it could be any country. Last I heard it was 18 Eyes, so yeah, it could be international. And yeah, you're right. So who are they? And she's right. Organized crime, The syndicate is what I call them. It's a group probably associated with the Freemasonry. They like to use the Illuminati symbolisms and stuff. So who is they? Open mic. Hey, and Nancy. Hello, everybody. Okay, next subject matter is, hey, we got almost 30 people in the house. Hello. Next subject is one of my own personal experiences that I like to share with you that I didn't get into. And that is, I coined this. This is my own phrase. I've never heard it said. Neurocommerce. Neurocommerce. I am getting advertisements and dunning from a credit card in my head. It could be a skit. It could be phony. But it's not, because every organization they mention is deeply rooted in criminal and bad activity through history. And I research each, people tell you to don't listen to the voices, ignore them. No. If they keep repeating themselves over and over again, you can do due diligence and go look the basics up. Then once you do, don't get in the rabbit hole too deep, but you'll get the rhythm of it after a while. So neurocommerce is what I'm getting. And the biggest one, the first one was a big franchise and big gigantic fast food place that serves tacos, and the name of them starts with taco. And they stopped finally. And then I had a Bavarian car company that starts with the name Bavarian at the beginning, and they keep asking me if I own one of their cars. And actually I did, and it was a piece of crap, and I sold it and got a Scion Toyota, which was 2,000 times better and 1/3 of the price. Seriously. So, and then you go deep into the Bavarian history of this car company, and you find out that the Quant family owns them, and the Quant family privately owns this company, and their great-grandfather was a Führer in the military for the Nazis. Okay? How's that grab you? One credit card company asked me if I paid my bill. It doesn't match up with my bill. It's just a skit. And the Bank of Italy or whatever it was in San Francisco is going at it with me, and they just asked me today did you default on any loans with this company? And they're behind so much fraud with EDD in California right now. They're just criminal, and I've had business with this company, and they are terrible. They treat you like crap. They're the worst. And they keep asking me in my head, so they're involved. And the credit card company that you cannot leave home without it. If you're older, you'll know what I'm saying. Wink, wink. Can't leave home without it. Carl Malden. Hello. And that's the neurocommerce I'm getting. Now my question is, are you getting any neurocommerce? Let me know in open mic right now.
What is neurocommerce?
Neurocommerce is when they do advertisements in your head for products.
No, I don't get advertisements. No, I don't get advertisements, but I do suspect that those getting attacked with neuro weapons and V2K and things like that are probably victims of human trafficking, which is, I guess, something like that.
This is remote human trafficking, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Remote human trafficking, I've called it, and I've also referred to it as a free-range black site, too. But also probably data mining, too, so I guess it could be something like that.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your commentary. Next subject matter I've heard people talk about is holograms and visuals. Name in the chat, and I have talked, and she gets the monsters in her eyes like I do when I close my eyes at night to go to sleep. and they're different shapes, and they have different designs, and they literally did that to me in 2003 with a picture of Bin Laden in my backyard, and then one next to me, and then it went away, and now I get the monsters in my eyes. So that's the holograms and visualizations.
They used to spam me with the image of the girl from that movie called The Exorcist.
Okay, very good. See,
I would
getting it too.
I would be trying to go to sleep, and they would project that image into my head very, very vividly. Not quite so vivid as an image on a computer screen, but like that, although more opaque and less vibrant.
Can you turn your volume up a little bit for me?
How's now?
There you go. Okay, because I have you on recording, so you'll be for posterity, and you'll have a good volume. So you're getting them too, huh? Whoa. What do you think the purpose is? That to scare us so we don't sleep? That's my assumption.
Well, at a point, I think one point of it, what they were doing with me was psychological torture and just basic harassment. To be honest with you, I think it's mostly just for fun. Just to kind of laugh at, maybe to test the effects of exposure. Not really sure. They've done other more interesting things. A type of software that interfaces with the mind reading the thing, where it can increase the vividness of imagined objects and scenes, and it also seems to use a AI to fill in for the images. Like it can reconstruct them out of images which the software has access to based on things which you yourself are visualizing. It can also bring up imagined sounds if they're on file and do various Instagram filter type effects, which is another interesting thing. Figured I'd just throw that out there. That's one of the cooler things that I've seen them do. Some of the cooler stuff I've seen them do. That's not like overt torture.
Yeah.
But it's the type of thing that leads me to believe that to some degree it's research and development, but also to a large degree just kind of embezzlement. Not in the human trafficking part is almost just kind of tacked on, maybe for exposure or something. I'm not really sure. Like to discern the effects of long-term exposure. I think one big thing this whole thing illustrates is the lack of oversight in these types of government programs is really dangerous because it leaves the door wide open to basically embezzlement. Is they can just have a program where they're essentially, doing nothing, and they can just collect money. They can just collect money for it.
Well, a lot of the defense contractors are also on the defense board and vice versa, so it's a loop.
And it's the same way with the FDA too. The corporations that work with our government have significant political power in our government too, which is obviously a terrible combination.
Eisenhower warned of that.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, watch his speech, and he'll mention allowing the military-industrial complex to gain control, and that was in 1961. Watch that, and he'll tell you.
Are we still doing question and answer? Do you have other topics? I wanted to talk a little bit about a fundraiser or an RF testing event, an idea that I've been floating for a few years.
This is basically a support call with synthetic telepathy and dreams we talk about. After the recording, you can bring it up later on, though, if you'd like.
Okay, cool. So around what time is that supposed to be?
after 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, please.
Okay, cool.
And you get 5 minutes. Okay, next
sweet.
subject matter is Yves Saint Laurent. Your beautiful Yves Saint Laurent. They're using mind scanning technology to scan your brain at Yves Saint Laurent to see what perfumes your brain reacts to. And they put a headset on you, and they use your olfactory and your testing through the brain scanning device and the smelling of the perfumes to find the perfume that is exactly tuned. Yes. Oh, Eiffel would know Yves Saint Laurent. Did I say that right? Yves Saint Laurent. I had a tete-a-tete with Yves Saint Laurent in 1958, okay? So, yes, I said that right, Yves Saint Laurent. So, yeah, Yves Saint Laurent is reading your brain for perfume, but you go into the Macy's or Harrods or wherever, and they scan you at the counter. That's funky. Listening to DJ Chris at TargetedWest.com, the Sunday conference. We are on our 12th show. Seems to be going well. It's 6:37 Pacific Standard Time. Next subject matter is AHAD, A-H-A-D. Now, James, on his call on Thursday, mentioned this, and I wrote it down, and I put it on my TI Club 3 feed on Twitter, which you don't have to be a member to look at. And it's AHAD. It's a Navy technology that makes you stop talking. What it does is it plays back your voice twice at 2 different types of speeds, and it completely makes you stop talking. And James believes that technology was used on him. So if you want to learn about AHAD, A-H-A-D, I think it's audio deterrent or something. It's a Navy technology. And, of course, I have that on my Twitter page, TI Club 3. And, yeah, well, I have a problem sometimes with targeted perks, and they make me sick, and then I lay in bed, and I go, what the hell am I doing this for? Because I'm risking my life sometimes for this. And I just want to say that I'm pretty good at letting it roll off my back. Anyway, next subject matter, the vagus nerve was something I discussed before in other calls. Vagus nerve, I read a book, but I was unlimited, and I didn't keep it. So I have to buy a book so I can learn more. But I did watch 2 doctors' videos I put on my TI Club 3 Twitter page where you can watch a doctor, and she explains how anxiety and stress accumulate in the vagus nerve. And that vagus nerve is the email system or the conduit between your brain and your entire body. And it can absorb stress. And there are methods to de-stress yourself because you're in trauma, my friends. You're in trauma mode. And the only way you're going to feel better is if you try to get that nerve relaxed. And one of the methods, believe it or not, is to sing. Singing helps that nerve relax. So go ahead. There's 2 parts with the doctor on my Twitter TI Club 3. Very important. That nerve is connected to your pituitary, all of your glands. It does the fight or flight modes. It's a messenger. And there are methods to relax it. And that will make you feel better. Anybody want to comment? Open mic.
Hey, I'm just testing my microphone. Can you hear me?
You sound great, Merle.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Next subject is cannabis and targeting. As I said earlier, Dick Cheney did not like cannabis, and here I'm smoking the old pal on my vape. And it helps me sleep. It helps me relax. does a lot of amazing things for me, and it's definitely a great alternative to alcohol, because alcohol is something that's not good for the community. Even I've tried alcohol, and it makes me a mess, way beyond a mess. Yeah, so 420 every day. Here's a little pop. Interrupts the mind control, according to the government and Dick Cheney, who I learned may be involved with this program. Because when he went to the Iraq War, he wanted it to be a technological war. And in Vietnam, they had sensors in 1965 and 6 that they dropped off of helicopters, and they fly around and pick up the sensors on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And then, it didn't work very well. But, Dick Cheney decided he's going to do this bio thing again and come after people one warrior at a time. And the mind control and the B2K and the remote neural monitoring and the telepathy and the zapping and all that's all apparently him. And he does not want the presidential models like Kathy O'Brien to smoke cannabis, as he said, and she wrote in the book, and she gave vivid details about him, which I will not discuss on this Sunday Sabbath call. Here's you, Dick Cheney. God bless you again. Okay, now we're going to wrap this up. One last subject matter, and it's, whoa, I really went in here deep. I'm not going to mention a certain Brian person anymore. He is got great information, but he's disruptive. So he won't be discussed anymore. Okay, I am done with my monologue, and at 7:30, Merle's going to talk for a few minutes about his stuff, but until then, we're going to go ahead and talk away. We prefer you talk about synthetic telepathy, dreams, and the COINTEL, which is the gang stalking. Okay? I'm going to take a break, and you can talk. And Merle, you can talk about something else if you want. You may make commentary on my topics. You're more than welcome. And your mic sounds great. No, he's busy at the moment. I guess want to comment. And Hannah, did you want to come in, or is that Merle? I see your light on. Do you want to speak? Merle, go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't have anything to say. If something comes up, I will there.
Very good. Hannah, did you want to talk, or Liz?
I was going to speak to you talked about earlier, the neurocommerce. Do you see someone watching a television set maybe, and you're just watching a show with the commercials going?
Oh, well, that's funny you bring that up, because that is a form of neural remote commerce, because they use a Lilly wave from John C. Lilly and other technologies, and the TV itself puts you in different brainwaves, so theoretically that's neural commerce too. You are correct.
Okay, because I always feel like like somebody's just sitting somewhere watching TV, and I'm like the background or something. I could just get to be involved, and every now and again they'll just talk in between. They talk to me, like they're maybe bored with what they're watching. So I'm seeing that and hearing them talk.
So you're like Jim Carrey in that movie where he's in a studio. Yeah, we're all like that. You're getting that too. It's a horrible thing to go through. I'm sorry you're going through that. Yeah, I have the telepathy too, and they do watch me, and they watch through my eyes apparently.
No, I think they're watching something. I think it's them watching a program and talking to me.
Oh, like they're watching TV and I got it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then like they're talking over it, so it's like double. But I never put it to what you said, like it's a neurocommerce. I just thought maybe like a commercial is in between, whatever they're looking at. Like maybe they're streaming something while also streaming into my head. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, I know. 20 years ago, I found out when I started getting this, and I'm like, whoa, you're doing this to people? And then I found out it's all over the world.
I just wish there's a better way to explain it, so that it doesn't sound as wacky as it does.
They made it so it's hard to explain.
All right, that's all I have.
Well, I appreciate hearing a new voice. Thank you for your input, and I'm got the open mic going. Anyone want to speak, you're more than welcome to. Well, that's okay. I can talk about next week's show. Who? Where's Chatway? My little book, 99-cent store. Well, $1.25 now. Yeah. Be talking about about NASA and their history with the Nazis. And that lady I was talking about earlier about the Project Paperclip book, that's Annie Jacobson. She's a reporter, and she will be talking about the history of DARPA, which I started watching, and everything around me went crazy. Everybody's moods changed. The cat started acting up. The wind blew, and my mood changed, and I couldn't watch the DARPA video with Annie Jacobson. So I shut everything down, went outside and grounded for a while, came back, watched other stuff, and then watched that again, and it didn't happen. So probably coincidence. You see how this program makes you so paranoid. Every little thing that goes on in your life, you don't know whether it's them, they, or a normal everyday occurrence. It's part of the program. Keep you guessing. So we'll be talking about Annie Jacobson. I think I'm going to buy her book when I get paid on my stipend. We're talking about TIA, Total Information Awareness, which kind of broke up into pieces during the War on Terror. We'll talk about biometrics. The FBI and DOD want to develop more and put a database together of all our movements, our gait, our face, even our shape of our ears, our blood vessels. Yeah, they want to track us. They want to have every American in that database so there aren't any terrorists. And then we'll talk about Echelon next week, MK Ultra history. UC Irvine is growing new limbs. Someone talked about the med bed, and I researched that, and that's the closest to med bed I can get. And we'll be talking about a police service, including investigative databases and huge, gigantic programs, and even tracking programs for criminals through Securus Technology. It's a company, SECURUS. Go research it before next week. They do local, state, and federal, so I am guessing if they're not using Lockheed's databases, they're using theirs. And we will be talking about Brain 101, what parts of the brain, what does what, next week on the 26th. Anybody want to talk? 6:49 p.m. We'll be shutting the recording off in 11 minutes. And then you can talk without being recorded. But the reason I record the first hour is so I can put a video out for posterity and promote the call. And the call is doing well. The numbers are good. It's not quantity, it's quality. Get some good people in. It doesn't have to be a million people. It'll be a few good people like you. You people watching on BitChute or YouTube, or I put it on archive.org for posterity. I see the chat room is going wild. A lot of people in the chat room talking. So I'm going to need this paper tonight. The Operation Paperclip subject matter I rediscovered opened up a can of worms the size of a 55-gallon drum, which expanded into webs of more things that I've started researching. So that part is amazing. Okay. We're going to chill out Sunday night. No yelling, no arguing, no fussing. Just be yourself and relax. Oh, and today is Happy Juneteenth, and it's also Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to fathers out there. Yes, we chill out. No fussing, no yelling. You really want. Yeah, my stock market's closed, banks are closed. The post office, for the first time in history, is closing tomorrow, so you will not be getting anything in the U.S. mail tomorrow. By the way. I read some articles about that and how some retailers are taking advantage of Juneteenth. Yeah, it's a federal holiday now. And then the next one's 4th of July, which is going to be wild. That's going to be wild with everything going on now. I see why everything in this world's going crazy is because, like I told you before, I went to... Now you would think, Psychology Today is the de facto standard in psychology. The Psychology Today website is where the pros go to read about the pros, along that with other studies and sites and the psychology group that the doctors join. This information's pretty good. And this guy's saying there's 150,000 licensed psychiatrists, mental hospital nurses, therapists and stuff in the United States for 330 million people. No wonder you have shootings and stuff going on. There's nobody to talk to. And no one talks to each other anymore. They're on that device. What? I don't know nothing. What? Huh? What? See, I don't know anything. And no one's put the shootings and all this vitriol and all this fighting and all this stress and anxiety and depression from the inflationary times we're in. If you're watching this years from now, we're going through some tough times, worse than 40 years. And of course people are going to break down, and of course people are going to do crazy things and break into your house and steal. These are different times right now. And of course they're going to affect the targeted community, so we have to be calm, nice, and chill for each other. But yeah, 150,000. Go to Psychology Today, and the article's there. It was written by a doctor, psychiatrist, and he showed the sources of his article. So there's data to back it up. So what we need are more psychiatrists, obviously, because I have a feeling that it's just regular everyday doctors that you go see, and they throw in some not Prozac, but something. They don't talk to you, just throw a pill at you, because that's the new thing now. Big Pharma's taken over, throw a pill at you. First thing, they put you in a psych ward for giving out flyers about targeting, and they make you go on drugs. Because they don't want to talk to you. Nobody wants to listen to each other anymore, talk to each other. Psychiatrists are few, far in between, and most of them don't take insurance. My psychiatrist charges $400 an hour. Again, my psychiatrist charges $400 an hour. Okay? Cash. She doesn't take insurance. and I have to pay her $50 a week and only talk to her as fast as I can for 30 minutes. So I have learned the Evelyn Wood Speed Psychiatry program, and I can tell I got my stories. I do this for the paper. Where do you think I learned this from? 18 years with her. I write it down. It's like, I never get any therapy out of that. So 150,000 people in the world, in the United States for a therapist? I mean, good Lord. So of course we have problems in this world. Duh. I would not doubt that guy Potter. I would not doubt that guy. Yes, that's good information.
How you doing, Chris? I just thought I'd say hello today, and happy Father's Day and all. But, yeah, now that you're bringing up psychiatry, I just wanted to agree with you there. You know, I'm a victim of psychiatry myself. When I was in the military, I ended up in a mental ward. I mean, this is something weird, maybe off the wall, but I'll bring it up. You know, while I was in that mental ward 40 years ago, I do remember someone putting something on my brain, and maybe they were scanning my brain at that time. Maybe they were getting a brain signature. I don't know. You know, well, you're so drugged up on those drugs, you don't know if you're coming or going. But I have a faint memory of that, and I believe that they experiment on the mental patients, so-called mental patients, with the, you know, it starts with psychiatry, mental patients and prisoners, and they seem to be the most vulnerable to being experimented on at the time. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that's what I believe might have happened to me. And then later on the line, I started hearing voices. I mean, I can swear by it. I mean, when I'm all drugged up on them psych drugs, like I say, I don't know if I was coming or going, what I was signing my life away. I don't know what, you know, that's why if I meet people in my car today in medical delivery, I just recommend them take some moringa, a few herbs, a few vitamins, and be vastly better off. I mean, just some of the people, the lives they live, you know, they get their small disability check, and they're drugged up half the time. You know, I had one guy in the car complaining about erection problems. He couldn't find a girlfriend in 20 years, and I try to tell him it's part of the psych drugs. You know, they get just. I mean, you know, the best thing I could say, you know, get some herbs and maybe some Viagra, testosterone stuff, but.
Yeah, the psych meds can affect sexual performance. That is correct.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and you are, by the way, you are correct. Do you know who Todd Giffen is? Well, he was interviewed by Romola, and that doctor, I can't remember his name at the moment, but Todd Giffen ended up in the Oregon State Mental Hospital guy, and they experimented with him. He had a knife at his grandparents', and he pulled the knife, and he was crazy, and they made the mistake of calling the police, which put him in the mental hospital, Oregon State, and he heard the voices, and he reported it to Romola. So, Guy, you are correct.
Yeah, I believe that psychiatry has a lot to do with this. I just can't prove it. I can't get to court with it. I would say also that the Targeted Justice website has a lot more info than PACS, and they hit the nail on the head with the hammer with saying these alphabet agencies and all are behind a lot of this. Now, I don't know how the connection with psychiatry is. If they get on the phone and say, well, so-and-so's...
they have they're called psychiatrists. I stole that from Dr. Carlstrom. Psychiatrists make the program. Yes.
You know, I really believe it. I really believe that that's a good... I can't say it's for everybody, but a good percentage of the people that are hearing voices. And I'll tell you, I've had some, you know, it's funny, my medical delivery job, the people that have their disability and all, they're just happy as hell to see a driver. They're just smiling. But I'll go to an auto parts place and get a tire change or something, and I'll just have that erratic behavior and rude comments. And, yeah, I don't know. It's like, you know, some people are more malleable than others. I'm still trying to figure out why I would be such a victim to people at different auto parts place or auto repair as opposed to just the people, but that's what it is. The people in my medical delivery, they're just so happy to get someone to take them to the doctor or take them home from the doctor, while the other, these people are just malleable. They're probably spreading slander. The homosexual pedophile has arrived. Let's give him a tough time. And, this is just how this slander campaign works, And, I'm having a tough time combating it. I'm thinking of wearing a chain on my ex-family and all with a picture. I don't know, you just how to deal with some of these rude behavior campaigns and all without going over the cliff is.
It's COINTEL. That's designed that way. COINTEL's designed that way.
Yeah. It's just. I don't know. I think just totally withdrawing from the world is another way. I don't know. I mean, with this. What I've been doing lately is, my stalkers have been trying to question me this or that or think this or that, and I'm just not replying to their, thoughts. They're reading my thoughts, and if I'm not going in a conversation with them, then they seem to go away. So that seems to help somewhat.
Well, very good, Guy. We're going to go and conclude this recording for BitChute and Posterity, Guy, and I'm going to hit the recording off, and everybody watching this video, I'll be back next Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come in person, freeconferencecall.com/wall/TargetedWest, or go to my website, TargetedWest.com, go to the DJ Chris info blog, and it's got everything you need to know about everything about Targeted West and our call. So thank you for watching.